Hey guys, Chaos-Necros here, and this would be episode 4 of the Bendy and the Ink Machine, but due to technical errors both on OBS and my level, because of human error anyway, I couldn't get the audio. Mainly because I forgot to turn on mic and audio. So, yeah. Anyway, to recover for that, I'm gonna do what I did with the Five Nights at Freddy's and Sister Location vids. I'm gonna say my thoughts and things on it, on Bendy and the Ink Machine as a whole. I did a thoughts on before with Cuphead, because that game I couldn't just record it, because then it's like I would have gone too silent, because there are times that I just like to rage. But anyway, that's a different. If you want to see that video, I'll probably put in an eye thing or whatever. But anyway, Bendy and the Ink Machine. For those of you that don't know, if you're watching this video first for whatever reason, is basically I would consider a suspense thriller kind of game, because it does have horror elements, but it's more like it builds it up, because most horror games at this point do a lot of jump scares, which it's fine for what it is, but every now and then, sometimes you just wanted to build up a little, want to build up the surprise. So anyway, Bendy and the Ink Machine, here's the synopsis. You're Henry. You were an employee at the company where Bendy was made, and you had left for 30 years. Your employer, Henry, sends you a letter to come and check out something that he, I guess, made at that time, and so you go and check it out. Turns out the place is in disrepair and all that. So you decide to see what's going on, you find the ink machine, activate, and then all hell breaks loose. So now it's like you have to find your way out of it, while meeting people, fighting monsters, solving puzzles, all the yada yada. Now, Chapter 1 is the introductory one. Chapter 2, you get a little more into it, and you meet one of the characters that were affected by the ink, religiously for some reason. And so, yeah. Chapter 3, you meet Alice, who you see has gone a little nuts, do some errands for her, like doing some collecting stuff. And then Chapter 4 comes in, and you see a whole new element. Now, I'm gonna talk about each thing as a whole. Now to start off with Chapter 1, it's basic introduction, so there's not really much to it. Yeah, there's some spooky bits, but it's mostly stuff that can make you jump if you're caught off guard. But if you're wary, or if you've already been through it before, it's not that bad. Until now, because they did updates, so maybe there's more to it that's gonna freak people out. But anyway. So, yeah, you go there, you do some puzzles, and you just end it. It just goes through the whole rigmarole that you go to the thing, things go bad, and you end up having to keep going, even though you could have made it to the exit. I don't know. But, yeah. Chapter 2, and then Chapter 2 starts. You go to there, you do a few puzzles, and you find stuff, like tapes and all that, along the way, by the way, of people that worked there, and gives you a little insight of what was going on while you were gone. So, yeah. So one of the people happens, I think his name is Sammy, and he went religious nuts, like treating Bendy as if he was a god. So, and he was gonna sacrifice you to him, so things went awry for him, and he's just dead now. But yeah, so you escape, and then you run into Boris, and then that starts Chapter 3. In Chapter 3, you go through, I think, what would have been the merchandise portion of the franchise, or the company, because you see like a bunch of dolls, a bunch of toys, all this stuff, and you meet Alice, or at least a Alice. If you play Chapter 4, you know what I mean. Yeah, Alice is a little nuts. She's very focused on becoming beautiful, and is willing to kill to do it. Like, and when you go through it, you see she's killed a lot of those ink monsters in order to collect their ink and slowly make herself more like Alice. Now, the problem with that is obviously it's affecting her mentally, and she's definitely not gonna survive long. So you have to go do errands for her, and well, it's not pretty. It all ends with you crashing and her taking Boris. Now, the sad thing is, now obviously Boris dies because in Chapter 4 you find that out toward the end. But anyway, going into Chapter 4, you find out that there was going to be plans for an amusement park, which got me very hard thinking, because I remember that there was a game theory on Bendy and the Ink Machine where, well, they were comparing the studio to, what was it? I forget the name, but it was the one that made Betty Boop. I don't know the name of it, but yeah. Essentially, they were comparing that company to the one that Bendy is made in. Which, it made sense because it went into disarray and all that, so you'd assume that maybe it was because of a competitive company. But with this whole amusement park thing, it's making me think maybe it's more like Disney. Because, I mean, Walt Disney, the guy, started off with a character, just one character. And he started to grow. And then and the more he grew, the more ambitious he became. And one of his ambitions was to make Disneyland, which he succeeded, and it became very popular, and eventually he made Disney World. Now, in this version, it would seem as if, in the Bendy and the Ink Machine version, it would be as if Walt took credit for Disneyland all on his own. I'm sure in reality he gave credit to the people that helped him build it. Like the designers, the construction people, the people that knew what they were doing. Because he could only imagine it. It's not like he could operate all the stuff on his own. So, yeah, I'm sure he gave credit. But in Bendy, it seemed more like the opposite. Like, he just took all the credit, and the guy that designed it the guy that, helped him out, designing and wise and all that, just was left in the dust. So, basically, the guy became very grudge-heavy, and, it becomes boss, essentially. It's you have to go through that, and this is all just so you can get into a different part of the area, and then get toward the end. And this is spoiler territory, but if you've already played the game, you already know this. Boris is dead. He was turned into a Frankensteinish monster thanks to Alice, and you have to fight him. Now, obviously, when you beat him, Alice is wants to kill you now, but then she gets killed, and when you look up, you realize there's another Alice and a Boris with her. And that for many, that would be confusing. But for me, it makes sense after I started thinking about it, because there are technically two Alices. The original and the replacement. The original, obviously, is the one that went mad, because she wanted to get back at being Alice. She wanted to be the perfect Alice. So she obviously did what she could to do that. Killing, murder, lying, all that stuff, It's like one of those, what is it? It's like one of those people that desperately do anything to get back into the spotlight. I forget what it is. Like, she's sort of diva-ish in a sense. Like, she can't share it. She has to be the one. And so the new Alice is obviously the replacement one, the one that they were planning to make the new Alice, or at least the voice of her. And so she's more innocent, and she is more willing to help you. She's probably more willing to help you. I don't know what, because it's like, it happens at the end, so it's like you just see them. The whole two Alices thing made sense. Boris makes sense. And like I said, this is all reflecting Disney. I'm sure I'm sure there's a lot of things that line up with with the whole franchise of Disney that lines up with the Bendy one. So it wouldn't surprise me if we suddenly see something like a giant statue of Joey holding Bendy's hand as like a statue that was supposed to be placed in the amusement park when it was built at some point, because we see a bunch of Bendy statues. There's a theory also that Joey is Bendy. I mean, it makes sense in considering that Joey's probably did a lot of things to try and get to it. But I also had a thought. This whole thing also reminds me of the Teen Titans movie, not the Teen Titans Go, Teen Titans, the first one, the original, the good one. That is like the Trouble in Tokyo movie. The bad guy was supposedly an ancient guy that whatever he drew came to life. In the end, it turned out it was someone else that was using the guy because he found out. But yeah, the thing is that guy became a part of a machine that now whatever he draws comes to life when he's attached to an ink machine, and so everything he touches now becomes a monster. I started to think, what if it's similar? What if Joey True is not the true villain, but rather he became like the heart of the whole thing? Like, he can't control everything, he's just being used for it. But then I saw chapter 4, and I saw when Bendy killed the projectionist. And it's like, why? Why would Bendy kill the projectionist? Because, like, if it is Drew, then I don't see why he would. But then it also makes sense that maybe Drew has a bit of humanity left in him, so he wants to keep Joey alive so that he can end it all, or at least see the fruits of what he's been doing. So yeah, it's a lot of thoughts. I'm gonna say that it's a good game. It's really good. The aesthetic is great. The models are great. I just enjoy it. Not as a horror game per se, but more as a experience. Because yeah, it gets scary at times, but it's nothing like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do. It's really spooky. It's not necessarily like Five Nights at Freddy's when I experienced it, because it's like with that I was like there was suspense and all that, but it's like because I could actually see them coming up to me and all that. It was like, yeah, there were hints that things were gonna happen, but then there were times that it was like, oh no, we're not gonna scare you here. We're gonna scare you here. Like in chapter 4, like there was a point where you probably saw it already. That is like there were five ink statues standing in front of a Bendy statue, and well, it was scary because they're just there. And I left the little area and started doing the little puzzle to unlock the door. I go back and I see they're gone. So I'm like, oh great. So yeah, it was that kind of thing, because then I'm thinking, this is gonna go to hell in a handbasket. Like, I felt like I was gonna get attacked. And then later, I see a room full of those things, and I'm like, what on earth? And because it's like, I have never seen these guys before, and I thought they were like a bad guy. So, it's like, crap. But it turned out that they didn't. I thought to myself, why? But then it hit me. Maybe because they're fully formed and they actually have cognitive thinking. Because the monsters I fought before, they were just blobs. They weren't actually people at the time. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to fight them in chapter 5 or anything, but it's interesting to see that I guess as the ink develops, they get back their personalities or whatever, or they start acting more like humans again. So, yeah, there's that. So I'm gonna end this here. In summary, the game's great. All 4 chapters are really good. I can't wait for chapter 5. And that's about it. I'm gonna end this little thing here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little thing of Bendy and the Ink Machine chapter 4. If you want to see more videos like this, please leave a like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Other than that, I'm gonna say bye!